Question number 1. First important information is there are 120 number of students. 120 there are 120 number of pupils, and that is your epsilon. So first of all you can label this information. Total number of student in the universal set is 120, and now they are saying कि 80 student can play guitar only. That is this information. And how do we write mathematically? We will write number of student who can play guitar only, G intersection P complement, and that is 80. Let me explain this again. P complement mean everything other than P. And when you take intersection with G, you will get only this portion, and they are talking about 80 student can play guitar only. And similarly, they are saying 25 can play piano only. In that case, you will write G complement intersection P, and that is 25. Now let number of people who can play both of these instruments be X, and this will be 80 who can play guitar only and 25 who can play piano only, and there are 3 students who can play neither. So you will write all these information, and now you will put this equal to 120. You will write 80 plus X plus 25 plus 3 is equal to 120. You can add all of these and then subtract from both sides. You will get the value of X, that is 12. Question number 2. In a group of 40 community leaders, that means this is going to be your epsilon. And then they said number of people who can speak English, they are 35. Please don't get confused, this is epsilon, and that represents the total number of students or total number of articles or total number of items in a set. And this is E. E is used for English in this particular question. And now there are 12 people who can speak Mandarin. So number of M is 12. Now, how many can speak both English and Mandarin if each of them can speak at least one of the two languages? So, first of all, we can let X. Now, this information is common between these two sets. So, this information will be 35 minus X. And similarly, number of people who can speak Mandarin, they are 12. So, it will be 12 minus X. Now we will form the equation, and that will be 35 minus X plus 12 minus X is equal to 40. When you do further simplification, you will be able to find the value of X, which is 7 in this case. Question number 3. Union of A and B, we have 44, and similarly N of A intersection B is 5, and the total number of articles in set A, that is 20. Question number 3. In this question, they said total number of articles in set A and B, that is this region, we have 44, and there are 5 that is common between these two sets, which is 5. And then we have total number of articles in set A, which is this set. And now they are saying find the value of N of B with the help of a Venn diagram. So now we don't have any other option. We cannot apply the formula. We have to plug all this information in this Venn diagram. So now, first of all, you will put this value here because that represents the number of articles in between these two sets, and then we have total number of articles in A, which is 20, and if I subtract 5, then I will get 15. They are only in A, so this is 15, And similarly, we can let this as x. So now we have the sum is already given, which is 44. Now you will form the equation. The equation is 15 plus 5 plus x is equal to 44. Now you can subtract and you will get the value of x, which is 24. But their question was to find the number of articles in set B. Remember, we have the value of x, which is only in B. So we will add x and 5, and that will give you the total number of article in set B. So that will be 24 plus 5. 29 is your final answer. Question number 5. They have given you number of article in set A, and similarly set B is given total elements. They are also given. Now they are asking find the greatest and least possible values of this. So first of all, you need to understand whenever you have a question like this, you have to apply a property, and that property is, first of all, you need to understand how do we apply this property. Let's say, to understand this property, let's say you have a set A and it has few elements like 1, 2 and 3. B has few elements like 1, 2. By definition, B is a proper subset of A. Proper subset of A mean number of elements in B are less than number of elements in A. So if I ask you to find A intersection B, A intersection B mean number of common elements in set A and B, and they are clearly 1 and 2. There are only two number of common elements, right? So clearly there are two number of elements in A intersection B. Now 1 and 2, they are present in set B. So instead of writing this, I can also write A intersection B is equal to B. So it can be written as A intersection B is B. Now if you look at this, they are saying exactly the same thing. Whenever, if B is subset of A, then intersection of these two set, you will always get the smaller set. So we have proved this property. Again, if I ask you to find union of these two, union is when you combine all these elements. So in this case, you will write 1, 2 and 3. You will combine all these elements. Since we have these elements, if you look at A and B, we have these elements, but we cannot repeat any element. So you will write 1, you will write 2, and then you will write 3. You cannot repeat any element, otherwise that is against the definition of a set. So in union, you have 1, 2 and 3. And if you look at this set, that also has the same elements. So instead of writing A union B equal to this, we can also write A union B is equal to B. Now if you look at this property, this property also says if B is a subset of A, that means their union is always the bigger set, right? If B is subset of A, that means A has more number of elements, then so its union will always be the bigger set, which is A in this case. So I'm going to erase this, and we are going to apply this property in this question. Now if you look at this question, they are saying find the least and the maximum possible value of A intersection B. If you draw the Venn diagram, you have two possibilities. First is, since the number of elements in B, they are less than number of elements in set A. So now you have two possibilities. First possibility is, this is your set B and it has 17 elements, and this is set A, and we know the total number of elements in set A, they are 24, and if 17 are here, that means we will write the remaining number of set elements in this portion. That means this is 7. Second possibility is A and B. When you add these two number of elements together, 24 plus 17 will give you 41. That means there is at least one element which is common between these two sets, because this sum can never be greater than number of elements in the set. So whenever you add these two number of elements together, and if that sum is greater than universal set, then definitely there are few number of elements they are common in these two sets. Like in this case, when you add 24 plus 17, that is 41. So 41 is greater than 40 by 1, so you will say at least one element is common in these two sets. So if one is common, there are 24 over here in this region. And similarly, if there are 17 articles in set B, that means there are 16 articles in set B only. Now we will solve it. Now we have these two possibilities. First possibility, they are saying find A intersection B. So if you consider the first option, you have A intersection B. In this case, you have 17 common elements. On the other hand, if you consider the second possibility, in this case, you have only one element common. So their question was what is the greatest and least possible values of A intersection B if we consider the first part. So the greatest possibility is 17 and least possibility is 1. So this is your maximum and this is going to be minimum. So for the second part, again we have these two possibilities. Either B is a proper subset of A, or there is at least one element common between these two sets. And we have discussed why there is at least one element common in the first part. So now if I ask you to find A union B, in this case, the number of elements in A union B will be 24. As we have learned, whenever you take union of two sets, you always write the bigger set. Now over here, if you take in the second case, if you take union of A union B, in this case your answer is 40. In this case we will get the minimum, and in this case you will get the maximum. Question number 7. First of all, we will try to understand the statement of the question. They said 60% of the pupils have saving accounts and 72% of the pupils have saving accounts with another commercial bank. This is 60% and that is 72%. And we know every time the total is always 100%. So that means so in epsilon we have 100%. You can draw this on the Venn diagram like this. Now this is 72, this is 60, and we know the sum is greater than epsilon, which is not possible. That means they will overlap. So now you can draw overlap mean, for example, this is set A and this is set B. Let this is X. And in this set, let's say there are 60%. 60% is in this whole set. If this is X, that means remaining will be 60 minus X. And similarly, in this particular case, we have 72%. And if you subtract X, you will get the remaining, and that is 72 minus X. And as we know, every time sum of this is always equal to epsilon. So you will write 60 minus X plus 72 minus X and put that equal to 100%. When you do further calculation, you will get the value of X, which is 32% in this case. Question number 11. First of all, we will try to understand the information provided in the statement of the question. There are 80 boys, that means epsilon is given, which is 80. Epsilon is basically universal set, and now we have other information. They said 8 passed English only, 10 passed mathematics only, and 7 passed maths and geography, but not English. And similarly, 40 passed English and mathematics, 21 passed English and geography, altogether 54 passed English. So I'm going to draw the Venn diagram. I'm going to draw the Venn diagram. So first of all, you will label all these information on the Venn diagram. There are three subjects, so I'm going to make three sets. 10 student passed maths only, and this is the region where we will write 10. And 7 passed maths and geography, but not English. Maths and geography is this portion, but they said maths and geography, but not English. That means we will write this 7 here. Next information is 40 passed English and maths. This is the region which is English and maths. Let this portion is X. If there are 40 passed English and math, that is this region. So you will subtract 40 minus X. That will give you math and English only. And 21 passed English and geography. English and geography is this region. So you will subtract 21 and that becomes 21 minus X. And the final information is 54 passed in English. That means this whole thing is equal to 54. Now we will form the equation. We will write 21 minus x plus 8 plus x plus 40 minus x is equal to 54. So basically this information is here. This x is here. This 21 minus x is here. And this 8 is here. We will add them together and then we will find the value of x, which is 15. You will add all of these values and then you will put them equal to 80. So I'm going to write all of these. 80 is equal to y plus 21 minus x will give you 6 plus 8, value of x is 15, so I'm writing 15 plus 7, 40 minus 15 is 25 plus 10. When you further simplify, you will get the value of y, which is 9 in this case. Now for second part, second part, they said the student who passed all three subjects, and that value we have already calculated, so you can write it here. The second part is the number of people who passed all three subjects, and that value we have already calculated, so you simply write it over here, and that is your final answer. Question number 22. In this question, this is your first information, and that represents the epsilon. That means there are 40 students in epsilon in the first set, in the universal set, and 15 students failed in maths, and 19 students failed in geography. That means there is a possibility now first of all you need to understand this information. There are 15 students failed maths paper and 19 students failed geography. This set is greater than this set. The first possibility is you can say this is math and it has 15 students who failed, and there is another paper which is geography and there are 19 students. If 15 students are here, that means 19 minus 15, 4 students failed in geography only. This is your first possibility. Or you can write this is math and this is geography. In math there are 15 students, in geography there are 19 students. That these are the two extreme cases. When we consider this complete set is a proper subset of G, or we can also assume that these are two disjoint sets. And why I can safely assume that these two sets are disjoint, because if you add them together, 19 plus 15 is 34, which is less than this. Disjoint means they are separate and there isn't anything common. But on the other hand, let's say if there are 20 in first and there are 30 in second, when you add there, that is 50, which is greater than 40. That means there are at least 10 students common in two sets. But in this case, this sum is less than 40. We can safely assume that they are disjoint sets. Now, first part is the greatest possible number of students that failed both paper. So failed both paper mean they are asking about the intersection of these two, and that is 15. On the other hand, if we find intersection, that means number of students who failed in both subjects, that is 0. So these are the two possibilities, and they were interested in the greatest possible answer. So we will write this. So least number of student will be 0. So you will write M intersection G is 0. The third part of this question is, now the third part of the question is maximum number of students who failed only one paper. So these are the students who failed only one paper. These are the students who failed only one paper. We will simply add them together. G union M, and that will be 19 plus 15, and that will be 34. Hope you understand this. Question number 18. Although you can do this question without the help of this Venn diagram, but so far we have done all these questions with this Venn diagram, so I am going to use it. This is your first set. Let the second set be this. There are 80 students in universal set. There are 50 students in first and 32 in the second. And why I did this, because if you add them together, 50 plus 32, and that is 82, that means minimum there are two elements common, because this sum can never be greater than universal set. And if it is greater than universal set, that means those elements are common in both of these sets. So this is A, this is B. This is the first possibility, and they are saying find the greatest possible number of elements in A union B whole complement. The second possibility is, this is the first possibility, and the second possibility is when we consider B is a proper subset of A. In set B, we have 32 students, and in set A, in set B, we have 32 elements, and in set A, we have 50 elements. If 32 are over here, that means 18 are only in A. So now if you find A union B, let me complete this question. If 2 are common, there are 50 elements. That means 48 elements are only in A. And similarly, there are 32 in B. That means there are 30 only in B. So if I ask you to find union of A union B, that is 48 plus 2 plus 30 will give you 80. A union B is everything in these two sets. And when I say complement of A union B, then we have 0, because now we are talking about this region and there is no element, because this sum is equal to this. When you subtract this from universal set, your answer is 0. So this is one possibility, and of course they are interested in the greatest value, so this is not going to be your final answer. So in this case, in the second possibility, if I ask you to find A union B, you will add these two elements, and that is 18 plus 32, which is 50. So you will subtract 50 from 80, because in complement we always subtract the number of elements from the universal set. So 80 minus 50 will give you 30. So now you have two possibility. This is first possibility and this is your second possibility, and they were interested in the greatest possible answer. So this is going to be your final answer.